Hi everybody, it's Angelia. Welcome back to Read and Reread. Today I have Friday reads for November 4th, and this week I have finished two books and I'm in the middle of another one. We've been watching Derry Girls this week, and I have, or maybe for a week or two, but we're almost at the end, and then I'm going to be show shopping again. But I've really been loving Derry Girls. I guess it's another one of those things that everybody else knew about, like, I don't know, a couple years ago, but I just figured it out. But it's been very enjoyable. And then I saw somehow through the miracle of random YouTube things, I found out that there's a Christmas special where the Derry Girl cast goes on to the Bake Off. And I was like, oh my gosh, when worlds collide. So I'm going to have to find that special after we get to the end of the show. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. The other thing I want to mention before I start with the books, this is my public service announcement. If you have anything you need to order that really needs to come in a timely way, like for Christmas gifts, you better start early. I don't know if it's just me, but every single thing that I have ordered in the past week or so has gone haywire. I mean, delays, going to the wrong place. I have received other people's things. I've had I have received a box of stuff from Nordstrom that was not mine, and I didn't place a Nordstrom order. It was for someone who used to live here. She forgot to change the address. That's okay. I contacted them. They said, well, take it back to the store. Well, we don't have one. The nearest one's 2 hours away. So they were like, oh, we'll just keep the stuff then or donate it. And I guess when she contacts them, they'll send her another one. So that's how we got a box of expensive hair products. Then I had ordered some tea in travel size for my trip to go with my travel kettle, and that didn't come on time. That got lost and went all around the state of Texas, and finally showed up, after we came back. We had I ordered some eyeshadow, and I got instead a hair dryer. I don't need a hair dryer. The frizz stands alone. And then also I ordered a hanging wall pocket calendar for my tea advent because I'm incessantly high maintenance about tea. And that also got lost, and they're sending me a second one. So, patience and extra time are required, at least for me, if you are ordering anything this month. So, I have warned you. All right, on to the books. The first book that I finished was Shrines of Gaiety by Kate Atkinson. I enjoyed this a lot. I love Kate Atkinson. I have not been disappointed by any of her books. I know some people like some more than others, and I guess like if I looked through all the books in the Jackson Brodie series, I did like some more than others, but other than that, I just have really loved all of them. And this one, I would say in the tone and the style, although it's a historical fiction book, I would put it more in the impact level with like the Jackson Brodie series than Life After Life or God in Ruins. So it's kind of on the breezier side, but there are some dark themes underneath. And it is the story. It's set in the 1920s in London. It has wonderful nightlife scenes because the matriarch in the story, Nellie Coker, has a bunch of nightclubs, and we find out how she built her empire. She has 6 children. One's just a kid, the other ones are grown, and we get what's going on with them. And there are efforts to take Nellie down. These are coming from a police detective who feels like her nightclubs are a front to cover up the disappearance of a bunch of young women. They also are coming from other enemies of Nellie. Then we also have Gwendolyn, who's come to town to look for some missing girls from her hometown. Gwendolyn has a story of her own that she does not share with everybody. It makes the plot more interesting. And then we have Frida, who's the girl who ran away, and she brought her friend Florence. Frida wants to be a star on the stage. So we go around between these people, and in typical Kate Atkinson style, it's very intricate. There's the reader is watching like a map or a web of the intersections, the missed connections, the secrets, the plots, people who are misrepresenting themselves. And so we see it all, and they eventually figure out most of it, but not all of it. And then we even have a nice chapter at the end that's sort of like, well, what happened to them after this? So I found it very enjoyable. And interestingly enough, some of the themes, the underlying themes having to do with women, kind of appear in all three of the books that I've read this week in different manifestations and in different time periods. So that's kind of interesting. The second book that I read was Happening by Annie Ernaux, and this is a memoir about the events that happened to her when she was a college student in 1963. And she's writing it from a vantage point of about 20 years later, and she's using her memory and her old diaries to compose this memoir. And somebody comments, it was translated from the French by Tanya Leslie. And somebody comments, Annie Ernaux is ruthless. I mean that as a compliment. And that was David Hewlin from the Los Angeles Times. And I agree with that. She's ruthless with trying to recreate what she recalls from this time period. She's ruthless in the details, however harsh they may be. She's ruthless with herself in having to live through them again in the writing. And she does one of the forward, I don't know, what do you call this thing? It's not a forward. I forget what this thing is called. It's the little quote at the beginning of a book. And it's, I don't know who Michelle Leiris is. I probably should have researched this before I started talking. But the quote is, I wish for two things, that happening turns to writing and that writing be happening. And there is kind of a meta level to this where she thinks about making something true through the writing of it and the, putting it down for all time and for everybody to see. And so this is about her difficulty in pursuing an abortion when she finds herself to be pregnant. And it's just really intense and it's really powerful, even though it's very slim. And it's not just intense because of the details of the abortion itself, which are pretty harrowing, and the aftermath, the complications that she suffered, but also just like the emotional intensity, her feelings of alienation and desperation, where she is not receiving any help and trying to, this is before internet or cell phones or anything. So she's just trying by word of mouth to figure out who can help her with this dire situation. And the response that she gets from men and the medical establishment, and her feeling like that her life was just divided when this happened into like a before and an after. But she just feels like she's just preoccupied, desperate, alone amidst all these other people that are just going about their happy young adult lives, and she's just in this misery and this fear. And one paragraph that stands out to me, that's about halfway through the book, and this is a little aside, and she writes, I realize this account may exasperate or repel some readers. It may also be branded as distasteful. I believe that any experience, whatever its nature, has the inalienable right to be chronicled. There is no such thing as a lesser truth. Moreover, if I failed to go through with this undertaking, I would be guilty of silencing the lives of women and condoning a world governed by male supremacy. So from what I have learned so far about Ernaux, that is a pretty good summary statement about her feeling about the power of writing and the importance of chronicling events, and also her feminist viewpoint. And because several times in the book she stops and thinks, well, reminding herself, here's why I'm writing this. And so this definitely was a great starting point for me to read her writing. And I do want to read some more. And I'm looking for some of the ones that are more about her personal experiences. Then the one that I'm in the middle of right now is T3, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I'm thinking about the title and the speech that comes from in Macbeth, and I'm waiting to see how that fits in overall, because it is about a group of friends and it goes through time. So I'm waiting to see how that meditation on time and our kind of uh, ultimate insignificance will play out in the story. But it is the story about Sam and Sadie, who meet as children at a very pivotal moment in their lives. They meet in a hospital where Sam is there because of his severely injured foot from a car accident, and Sadie is there because her sister is hospitalized with cancer. And it is about the coming together, the breaking up, the of Sam and Sadie, not in a romantic way, but in a friendship way over the years, and the intensity of their friendship, the intensity of their fallings out, the other people in their lives. And that's what it's about more than it is about the gaming, which is what threw me off to begin with. But that is their field, and they design a blockbuster, huge success, giant hit video game while they are still very young and in college. And then they are partners, like business partners, and also another really good friend that was Sam's roommate. But anyway, I'm getting off the track here. But that's kind of the setup. Right now, having gone halfway through, I will say I'm still like totally not interested in these games. I have to read through the parts about the games to understand what is important to them, but I still don't care about the games. I do care about the friendships and the relationships, and I'm also very frustrated and exasperated with the people in the story at many times. And I'm gonna have to wait and see what my ultimate thought is about these people when I get to the end of the story. But I'm all tied up in it, so I will keep reading it to see what happens. So that is where I'm at. After I finish that, I'll probably read a nonfiction book. I think I'm going to read Last Call next, because I got it from the library, so I need to read it and get that back to them. So that's kind of my plan. And so I hope that you had a good reading week as well, and love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below if you've read these books that I talked about or something else wonderful this week. And I will be checking in with you soon. Bye-bye.